Don't drink that.
Why not?
'Cause, if brew's made by gluckins, it's probably bad for you.
What a wuss.
I hear you.
Look, Abe, we came all this way just to help you.
Well, but
It's not unreasonable that we are just a little bit thirsty. Now, is it?
yeah, but
In case you didn't notice, we just walked across a desert.
So back off, Stitch Lips.
no. I tried to stop them, but they drank the brew anyway. Lots of it. Then they got all sick looking, but they still wanted more. That's when I figured this whole thing out. Brew is made from our bones. This is bad. What do I do now?
What do you do? How about leading us out of here?
Okay, follow me.
Okay.
But oops, I forgot he was blind. Help me rescue the rest of them.
I can't believe it. That's him. It's that Abe guy. Promotion. Here I come. Freeze.
Welcome back to Let's Play Oddworld, Abe's Exoddus. As you have seen, Oddworld's friends have proven to be very useless. Abe is a poor judge of character. That's why he needs you, and that's why he needs me to lead him through Necrum Mines. We are in Tunnel 2. Fun fact about that cutscene, you can actually see the Magog Cartel logo on the back of that flying slig that chases Abe down, which is not something you see in like the in-game model or anything. So it's a neat attention to detail. We're still very much in tutorial land, as evidenced by this secret area, for example. Tunnel 2 has a lot of very easy secret areas, the easiest in the game, which makes sense considering it's still very early in the game. A lot of secret areas past Necrum Mines are going to be super difficult, and just finding them won't be enough. I actually think that Abe's Exoddus is a much harder game than Odyssey in some respects, because they give you the quick save. I think Oddworld inhabitants went a little crazy with how little room for error there is in the secret areas. Now, here's the proper introduction to the flying slig. As you can see, it's a lot easier than what we saw in the first video. As you can see, he only got like one shot on me and still missed, so it's nothing too difficult. Now, Necrum Mines proper, let's talk about that for a moment, because this confused me as a kid. Necrum Mines is a part of a larger overall area called Necrum, and which is the burial ground for the Mudokons. We're going to be spending a lot of our time in Necrum, even though Necrum Mines is only, I don't know, like, not that big of an area compared to other places. The next, like, 3 areas are still going to be in Necrum. It's a very big burial ground site, so it's nice. It's not a bad thing or anything. It's just something to explain. Now, this secret area, again, super easy. The hardest part we just went through in that getting the slig to actually get to our screen so we can possess him. The rest of this is just, like, I don't know if I would call this a puzzle. Like, I would think if someone was smart enough to make it this far, then they would know how to take care of this in one hit. I don't know. It's strange. One time I like to be a little wacky, you know, and the fart in Abe's Exoddus, it is more useful than the one in Abe's Odyssey for other reasons, but sometimes I just like to fart people off a ledge, because it's 10 years old. 10 years old. That's right. hey, let's possess a flying slig, because that's what we're gonna do now. As you can see, there he is right there. We haven't done that yet. Now, flying sligs, they fly, obviously. They don't say anything different that regular sligs do, and they can shoot out bombs. If you were to try to, I don't know, fly into one of those death pits, like so, that won't actually happen. So there's never a time where they try to trick you out by making you fly a flying slig into a pit that Abe would normally die in, because that'd just be a strange thing. One thing to note about flying sligs is that regular sligs hate them. You want to stay out of their line of sight for as long as possible, because they'll shoot you on sight, no questions asked. There's actually apparently a canon reason for this. Flying sligs are very hotshot pilot personalities, and so regular sligs can't handle them, and so as a result there's a bit of a rivalry between the two types of soldiers. Another thing with the flying slig, he controls fairly well. It's not too floaty, it's not too bad, but the arc of his grenade shot is a little weird and takes some getting used to. It's possible to kill yourself with your own grenade shot if, say, you're too close to the ground or in a cramped area. So you got to put a little bit of finesse into it, you know, a little bit of style. So here's our friends. They drank all the Soulstorm brew. And they're very sick. As you can see, they're not gonna have any of it from us, and not even a good old slap from Abe is gonna get them moving. So these are the sick Mudokons, and we need to do something special in order to cure them. And this special thing is what we will work towards for the next couple of videos. We have to finish these trials in 2 vaults, the Mudamo vaults and the Mudanchi vaults, in order to get powers to heal the sick. This is very much like in Abe's Odyssey, where we got the power of the Shrikle by going through Paramonia and Scrabania. So it's a lot like that, kind of a repeat of progress, which is fine, that's not a big deal. And Mudamo and Mudanchi vaults, they're different enough where it still feels unique and fun. And we get to see Paramites and Scraps again. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Slogs are back in this game too, and with them come Sloggies. And Sloggies are literally just tiny versions of Slogs. They're just as vicious, but they're a lot smaller. They're slower than regular Slogs, but they can fit through tight spaces, and sometimes that's all that matters. For those of you who don't know, Slogs, they just chase you down straight up. They don't you can't possess them, you can't talk to them in any meaningful way. They're just vicious dogs that are out to get you. I'm not going to kill the Sloggies because they're kind of cute. They just really want to do a good job. They really want to do a good job. Speaking of tutorial areas, welcome to Tunnel 3, the beginning of what I would like to call the rock tunnel segment of the game. Oddworld Inhabitants was very worried that you would not understand how to throw a rock in this game, and so it dedicated 2 whole areas, 2 whole tunnels to be more precise, on how to throw rocks properly. It takes a very long time, and I am not a big fan of it. There is a secret area to kind of break up the monotony here. You just gotta make sure to blow up these mines first, and you'll see why later. It's a pretty dick move. One thing you may have noticed is that any screen that has a secret area on it will actually have a green Soulstorm Brew bottle scattered somewhere on the screen. This is a sort of on-screen hint to tell you there's a secret nearby. It makes finding secret areas a lot easier, and I'm a big fan of that. It's a lot better than Abe's Odyssey, where you just run into walls and hoping you'll find something. Now here's the last type of Mudokon that we haven't seen yet. This is the blind Mudokon. You may recognize him or them from the cutscene in the beginning of the video where Abe brutally murdered one. or in the opening cutscene for the game, where they were mining around. Now, blind Mudokons, their deal is that they can't see. So, more so than regular Mudokons, they rely heavily on Abe on where to go. If you don't tell them to wait, they'll walk right past Abe and into a pit. So they require a bit more hand-holding. And as you can see, I mean, we just gotta repeat this whole puzzle process 2 more times, so we'll speed through it. Blind Mudokons can get angry or sad, so that's a thing that can happen. But they don't ever get hysterical. They're never put in a situation where they become hysterical or like super happy. Which is good, because blind Mudokons running around wouldn't be good for anyone. Now, the more observant viewers may realize something interesting. There are actually bottles in the screen, in the secret area. And so is a revolutionary aspect in game design for the Oddworld series. Secrets within secrets. I'm pretty sure this is the only time this happens. It's very lucky that blind Mudokons can sense when they're standing in front of valves, because otherwise this whole process would be a lot more tedious for everyone. Like, they just stop by themselves. All Mudokons do. So, good on the programmers for catching that, because that would make valves a lot worse of a feature than they would be. Remember when I told you should blow up those mines? This is why. If you didn't do that, you'd be flown straight into a death zone, and that's just a very mean thing to do. You can't get out of that secret area without that well, so you'd have to restart the whole tunnel, which, granted, that's only like 5 to 10 minutes, but it's still a giant pain. Speaking of giant pains, here is the tunnel for the rock tunnel proper. This is the worst part of the game, maybe. I mean, it only takes like 5 minutes, but it feels like forever. You have to blow up a lot of mines with your rocks, and I don't see what was so necessary about this whole deal. It does also introduce you to grinders, that thing we just turned off. If Abe touches even a pixel of those things while they're turned on, they'll chop him up into bits. Grinders existed in Abe's Odyssey, but they were nowhere near as versatile. All they did is go up and down, and they usually had a consistent pattern. While grinders in this game, they can go up, down, left, and right. They could stretch across the entire screen. They can intersect with each other. We're going to have a lot of timing puzzles involved with those grinders. So there's a short video. Once we're done with this tunnel, we'll be done with the video. Next time, we'll be finishing the Necrum mines. So until then, I'm Met, and I'll see you in the Blind Mudokon Zone.